right? I mean, this sport and anything in life, right? As soon as you sit still, you get passed really quickly. So, hey, you just got to stay hungry. Keep looking for more. Keep looking for the next advantage. Thanks.
Joey, welcome back to COTA. Have you gotten any thoughts about the new layout? Any of your fellow Ford drivers in the Xfinity Series? Any data that's been shared?
No, there's been no data shared. Just walking the track and watching whether it's the race that's on right now or later today, the Xfinity race, and kind of collecting my own data from visually watching. So we'll see when we get out there. We'll have you get some more answers. But yeah, we'll see how it is. I like the idea of changing up the track. I like the idea of coming by the grandstands more often. I think all that makes sense. So we'll see how it plays out.
I know we talked about this back in the old days in Charlotte. At a fan event, you were saying you're a big Patriots fan, Tom Brady fan. You got to meet him during the Super Bowl. So
Yeah.
I got to ask you, as a native New Englander to another native New Englander, what was it like to meet the GOAT?
It's pretty neat. It's a little surreal, actually. It's hard not to be a little starstruck, right? And it's interesting. We talked for probably 20 minutes just about random stuff, but a lot about just kind of what it was like for him to be there at the Super Bowl, not actually competing, and how to handle stuff like that. So that was really interesting to hear his perspective on it. Obviously the guy is he's very driven, and it doesn't seem like that's gone away at all. He was in the green room before. I don't know if you watched the pregame stuff, he passed the ball over the street to Gronk, and he's in there warming up. He's watching him throw the football. He's beaming it. I think it was his kid he was throwing it to, but he was beaming it to me. It looked effortless. But I was like, I wanted to catch the ball, just like I caught a ball from Tom Brady, but I was pretty certain I couldn't catch it, and that would have been embarrassing. So I didn't do it. But it was cool to watch that.
For sure. My last question for you is, you're a three-time champion. We know your roots about racing in the Bandos in Georgia, but obviously New England roots. What would your younger self be thinking about what you've accomplished so far? You're still young, but you're like, man, you're making some great cases to be one of the best drivers in the series.
I can't say I think of it that way. I just go live every day. I don't look back much right now in my career and say I've done enough, or I just want to go win the next race, and I keep it that simple. Maybe post-career I'd look back and say some different things, but right now it's just about the next race.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I think there's no better guy to ask than somebody that just won a championship, and with all the talk and changing the playoff format, hey, Joey had some struggles early, but when y'all came into the playoffs, there's no better team than you guys in the 12, Penske as a whole. What would that look like to you? What would you like to see going forward, or you don't care? Just give me the format and we're going to do the thing.
On one hand, I'd say give me the format, we're going to do it. We'll figure out how to win then. But on the other hand, I look at it as just a race fan, and I think it's pretty freaking good what we got. Right? No one really complained about it until they see someone they don't want to win, right? Like, there's real advantages to running well in the regular season, just like there is in playing well in the regular season in the NFL or the NBA or whatever it may be. There's true advantages that are earned. You still got to show up in the playoffs, though. That doesn't mean it's a guarantee. And I think our format does that. I don't understand it at all. And I know my perspective, people are going to think is skewed because of that we won, but I don't see it that way. And I just don't understand why we would change it. Honestly, the only thing I would change is that I don't think a car outside the top 20-something in points should get locked in by just a win. Right? That doesn't seem right. Right? I don't think a car that's running 30th in points and wins a race should be locked into the playoffs. Is that really a playoff team? I have a hard time with that. Yeah, what? You know what I'm saying. So, I think that's the one thing I would change, which is just going back to what it used to be, actually.
Right.
Because we used to have that rule. So I would just go back to that personally.
So kind of off that, like SVG, AJ, like they're among the favorites this week. Does that make them more dangerous because they could get a win?
Well, yeah, they're obviously strong, and there's a lot of, the decision making for race teams. You got to look at where can they win, right, to get into the playoffs. And you know, you look at Shane, you look at AJ, you look at some of these guys. I mean, and they're well-rounded race car drivers that can win at other ones, but they have a true advantage when they come to these racetracks because they're just good, just really good, and they have a good chance of winning and locking themselves into the playoffs. And they'd be deserving of it. But I also think you should be in the top 20 something of points, the top of that. It's my opinion. Over regular season. But outside of that, I wouldn't change it.
Well, and no disrespect to any